I think I hate almost every ghost movie.
Every ghost movie?
Pretty much. They're very shitty usually.
The Others. Sixth
Bad
Sense,
ending.
right?
Also,
What do you mean?
the others had
The endings are the whole thing,
I
right?
didn't like the ending of the others.
It was like the ending of The Sixth Sense. Spoilers.
Yeah. Didn't much care for that. And that was also spoiled the world over before I ever saw it.
Somehow I got in. I somehow dodged all the spoilers and I got to it.
That was like they're like on the news. They're like, oh, this weekend opening we have
Nicole
The Sixth
Kidman, they're dead
Sense.
the whole time. It's like, what the fuck?
Oh no, that one I didn't get spoiled.
Oh.
It was the Sixth Sense.
I didn't get spoiled by that either.
The Sixth Sense, like literally, they're like coming out Friday. The Sixth Sense. We had this wonderful movie with Bruce Willis. He's dead the whole time.
By the way, he's dead the whole time.
Yeah, ghost movies. It's a crapshoot.
I heard that about Pay It Forward. Somebody was like, oh, you should go see Pay It Forward. The kid dies. And I was like, what the fuck's happening? Never saw it.
It's all you love and know. It's Cannibal Video.
All right, guys, here we're going to talk about Spirit Trap. ...2005 Spirit Trap. Lee, had you seen it before?
Absolutely not. I've never seen anything before.
But you love Billy Piper.
I do, from Doctor Who and such.
Had you heard of this one?
No.
Okay. Had you heard of her singing career? I'm
What?
testing you now.
Much my Billy Piper knowledge?
Yeah.
I think she's also in, oh God, what's it called? Penny Dreadful, right?
She's in Penny Dreadful.
Yeah, I
She's
like
in
her.
Memoirs of a Call Girl
Call
or
Girl
something.
thing?
Or
Yeah.
Diaries of a Call Girl.
Yeah.
Should shower and shave. You've got work and whatever the fuck it is.
No, I think I was introduced to her by Doctor Who, and that's
course,
where I like
Rose.
her from. But
Our favorite companion.
I'm happy to see her getting work and whatnot. So
Indeed.
whatever. But no, I know very little about her.
I did a deep dive after watching the first season of Doctor Who with her.
Okay.
I was like, all right, well, who is this? Let me see here. Oh, you're a pop star.
I found your high school yearbook, bitch.
You're like the English Britney Spears. Okay.
Is she?
Yeah.
Damn. I did not know that at all.
I don't know exactly. I don't think she has the same longevity of career in.
No
in
one's
that, but
Britney Spears.
She swung into acting pretty quickly, as did Britney. But no. So, non-spoilers. What did you think about Spirit Trap?
I think it's okay. It's slow for a very long time.
That's true.
And ended up liking some stuff at the end. I think a lot of it doesn't make sense, and I'm sure we'll have some fun discussing that.
Yes, I will agree. There's some things that didn't make sense. Some things did wrap back around in a way that I was like, oh, I think Lee will appreciate some of that stuff.
Absolutely not.
Oh, perfect.
Fuck you.
I'm not a huge ghost guy in general.
Yeah.
Like, ghosts make me mad if the rules aren't very clear. And like every ghost movies, the rules are not very clear here.
Yeah.
But, it was serviceable. It was fun. If you're a fan of Doctor Who, you'll be like, oh, what else did Rose do?
What else is Rose
This could
been
be a
up
thing
to?
you want to
Yeah,
check
yeah.
out. Other than her, I don't think there's anyone in it that I'm like, oh, I know that person from anything.
Oh, the one dude is one of the dudes from the movie The Ritual that I liked a lot that you didn't like very much. And
it was okay.
I think he's the
Good
guy.
visuals.
I think he's the guy who hurts his leg. I want to
Okay,
say.
I'll believe that.
But it's many years later, so he looks different. But I was like,
Gotcha.
yes. I was like, who are you looking like someone? What's going on? We should say the story is some kids get some like cheap housing in an old decrepit house, and then
like a mansion.
haunting ensues. Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
It turns out to be a spirit trap. Who knew?
All right, guys, so if you've seen this or don't care, it falls over to spoilers, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, guys, here we are for the spoilers of Spirit Trap. So, this movie has some flaws that I need to be sure are flaws, or if I didn't understand something.
I was about to tell you I might have misunderstood this movie because I don't know if things were.
Okay, so the movie opens up with a phone call from a housing advisor saying, we have located a house, it's really cheap, we're not going to meet with you, we're not going to give you keys, you're just going to go in, you live there now, that's your house.
Hi, this is the college accommodation office.
Flaw number one. Who
Yes.
makes that call?
I believe in
But-
that phone call, they say, we have a house for 4 people. And I was like, okay. And I was thinking that when they showed the first shot of the house, this gigantic living room, I was like, that house is immense. 4 people, there'd be 4 people per room in that mansion. And then you see there's 5 people. And I'm like, well, one of these people's dead. was my
Yeah.
literal opening joke thought. Because I may have misheard it. I didn't go back to check. I don't know. I think they said 4.
We've managed to find you a house share with 4 other students.
And then it turns out that one of those people is dead.
I do not know how many people they said. Let me just take a quick fork in the road and
Sure.
then we'll loop back off the pit stop. At the end, though, who made that call? Did the ghost make that
The girl.
call?
The girl
The
who
ghost?
was married to the butler guy or with the butler guy.
The ghost.
I believe.
So the ghost made the call.
An arbitrary call to 4 random people that
Just 'cause
happen to be going to school and need housing?
And that she knew were kind of like killers in some technicality way because they share something in common. I don't know.
Guess
right?
they did all share that. She
that-
is piercing the veil or whatever, so maybe she like, okay, I know you all have a
She
haunted
might
past.
be so she may be piercing the
They
veil.
don't explain
but
that.
does she have a phone? Because how is she making this phone? Don't worry about
I
the phone.
think
Okay.
they do say,
So-
is there a phone in the house? I didn't see one.
Wait, mate, is there a phone in here?
No, I haven't seen one.
I know. So that means she has a cell phone. So
Or she can just like the wires are on her grave. Or,
she has pierced the veil enough to get a cell phone plan.
Maybe.
Does she have rollover minutes? Does she have a system?
well,
What's
she also
going on?
made them sandwiches.
Anyone hungry?
Hello. Oh, hang on.
Yes, she got groceries. That
So
doesn't
like
make any sense.
my
at all. Hold on,
joke
hold on,
snap
hold on.
judgment
Yes.
was she's dead, like someone's
Yes.
dead, and then I was like, I literally went, it's not her because she made sandwiches.
Okay. Real quick though.
She also is seen in the opening shot with groceries that
I was
she
just
brought
saying.
in.
Oh God, thanks for getting all this stuff.
That's okay.
Have you met the other chef?
No, I think with the person's here.
Yes, and she says, thank you for getting those groceries. Before I forget, though, not only did the ghost make the phone call, we found out in a dream, I think, Billy Piper visited the school, but in a dream.
Yes.
Where they don't even have a hospitality department or something. So,
Yeah.
like, why is she dreaming the truth? Is her mom trying to tell
They
her the
said
truth?
she's psychic.
Is that what's
So
happening?
maybe in the future, like a Bill and Ted thing, it would be like, just remember when this is done, go and check if they have a hospitality department. Then it would zip back into her mind in a
Go
dream.
back and tell you, because part of me thought then, I'm like, oh, her mom was trying to warn her because, the dude's dead brother tries to warn him.
Yes.
So her mom must have tried to warn her through a vision of her going to school, even though she was just in the house, but not in the house, in the spirit of the house.
And they recycle that same hallway of the school they
deep in
don't
the
go
trap
to the next
for
day.
For other visions that
Yes.
happen, right? So I'm like, okay, but then like you see Billy Piper waking up. So I was like, oh, what is happening?
Yeah, no, it's a lot
right?
of weirdness. But that's the weirdest one for me, where I was
Okay,
like,
but
how
hold
did
on.
this all start?
So hold on, yes. So it's like now we're back to like Tina's dead the whole time.
Yes.
I too was like, well, she's dead. She must be dead. But they make you think she's not by doing things that are logical or make sense. They show her turning on the faucet and like sludge comes out and she gets scared. There's like a mouse trap. She makes like cucumber sandwiches or some bullshit, right? And yeah, she bought groceries. The ghost bought groceries, or she just made them think that she bought groceries. These are all just visions. Why is she projecting astral visions when no one else is in the room when she's getting scared?
There was
by the
also
faucet?
an opportunity to
Yeah.
make this good in that when Billy Piper first goes into the living room, oh, did you guys see Tina? And they go, oh no, is she the one making weird noises upstairs? It could have been a thing where they never see her.
I know.
And that would have been good too.
Yeah.
And then by the time they do see her, it's like, oh, the ghost.
That's when she comes in with the sandwiches.
Yeah.
And I had the same thought as you, where it's like, oh, only Billy saw Tina. Tina's the ghost. That's kind of weird. Maybe I'm mixed up about who Tina is because that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well,
but
they did two
someone's a
characters
ghost.
look very much alike.
You just be careful, Tina.
The
Yeah.
drug addict guy's girlfriend and Tina look enough alike in close shots
Okay,
that I'm
I
like,
was gonna say,
okay,
like, oh,
pale,
yeah.
brown hair, whatever, like one hair's here, one hair's here,
Yeah.
but when like they're zooming in, like I'm like, okay, they
Well,
look
I-
enough in
I didn't-
movie world likes where
I
like
did
there's too
not-
many blue people, like, you're
I
like
did-
I'm surprised they even
I did
cast
not know
them.
people's names yet, so
Sure,
I wasn't
who would?
sure what was happening yet. But yes, that is like a huge red flag, super obvious thing of like, have you met the other one? Who? And that
Yeah.
just puts it in your head as if an hour later, I'm supposed to be like, oh, what a brilliant misdirection. I'm like, bitch,
No.
yeah,
There's even a weird part where like water just turns on.
yeah.
Why did you smash your phone?
Don't change it.
And then she like turns it off with the faucet, and I'm like, the water just started. The faucet didn't turn. If the water's coming through, the ball valve is broken. You're fucked. And there's a series of like the water's overflowing or this and that, or like she's not corporeal enough to turn the water off again because like she went in to go take a bath
So,
as a
yeah.
dead person, saw her lover in the mirror, and then like was reminded she was dead, and then like poofed out of existence, and the water flowed out. That conversation alone, I was like, this is an unrealistic first meeting day conversation. Were you taking a bath? Oh yeah, sorry. Oh, no problem.
By the way, were you running a bath?
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm like, you flooded the house. She'd be there
flooded the
mopping.
house.
There would be no problem.
Yeah.
No problem. Is this
So-
a trend? This is day one. You should be on your best behavior.
So this is a good time to mention, like, yeah, I too was like, does she not know she's dead? When did she realize she was dead? What's going on? It's very messy. That scene where she's in the bathroom and you see like the torch lights of the angry mob like reflected, I was like, that's pretty cool. I like that.
And she
But
opens
yes.
it and doesn't see them anymore.
Yes, I was like, okay, haunted house, spirit trap. I like it. I like where we're going with this. And then yes, everything around that, where like the bath, and then she got distracted, and then you're like, whatever. Like Tina is so underdeveloped as a character compared to everyone else that it's so obvious that she's dead the whole time.
Yes.
Right. And like they don't show the face of the chick in the flashback, but the voice sounds enough like her, because I think it's just that actress talking.
Probably.
Right? So it's like this is a whole train wreck of like a.
There's a lot of
trying to
weird though
hide a
underdeveloped
thing.
character
Yeah.
stuff. Like
Yeah.
the what's the boy, the good boys, whatever his name is.
Nick?
I'll allow that, sure. So Nick
not
is
Nick.
like,
You're a fool.
there's no one that is as like invested in random bullshit to fix a clock, and then when he pulls a book out of the gears, not to look at the book for 2 days.
Got it! You see? It's working now.
Like, that's so strange. No one would ever do. Oh, I'd put it on the ground right where I was. 2 days later, it's still there. I pick it up. Oh, it's a diary.
And he realizes, like, wait a minute, and then gets the
Yeah.
book, right? As opposed to, like, putting the book, maybe put the book in the drawer, see the Ouija spirit writer.
Sorry, is this yours?
Where did you get that?
It was in there. What is it?
It's a planchette.
What?
And then, like, do a swap and, like, pick that up. And then think, oh, wait, that book that I put away.
I can't
right?
imagine not
Yeah.
looking at it right
should
away.
look
Like,
at
what
it,
is
yes.
that? It's a book, like it's a leather bound like diary looking thing. That's certainly something you'd. Why does this get wedged in the clock?
It's a
I have
very
to see
interesting
this.
little tone,
Oh, are
yes.
we in Evil Dead?
These are pages from a journal belonging to a young woman, Irina Webster. Now, she married this old guy, Frank Webster.
So going on from there, right, I just mentioned that spirit writing thing. I'm kind of a chump, but I thought that you couldn't read what was being written well enough.
Oh, I don't even know how that would work.
Okay.
Unless you were writing like in perfect cursive.
Yes.
How would that ever work? It's not
But
a
I mean-
Ouija board.
But I mean, like, you as the audience member,
Oh, no,
did
yeah.
you know what they said?
No, I didn't know what it was saying.
Okay, good. And they don't like repeat it enough or like talk about it, especially the second time it writes
well, the
something.
mother one, that one I got.
yeah.
It was the first one that I was like, what did it say?
Okay. Yeah.
But the problem for me would be like, is that a real thing where people like pre-Ouija boards?
I think
were
it is.
Were we loading pens? Like pre-Ouija boards, did we have pens like that? Wouldn't you have had to like dip it into something and
Ouija
like?
board was created by Milton Bradley in like the 50s or something like that.
I think it was a
Making that up.
recreation of
I'm making that up.
of
It's
an
fine.
old school thing. They do make it. They've suffered many a problem with their pagan ways.
Yeah, baby.
But my point is if you were to do a thing where it actually you're moving with like multiple people's hands, would it ever spell anything? Even if I was trying, I don't think I could make letters form that way with guiding other people's hands as well.
How do you know what it's like to be a ghost guiding a like whatever that? There's like a name for that Ouija board piece.
It's a planchette.
No, that's ridiculous. I don't even understand the actual opening of the movie after these like weird credits you get that are like flashbacky
Lot of
bullshit
credits.
things. That's one of my things I hate. I hate credits that
lot of
aren't just
credits.
like nothing. Whenever it's something like oh, it's part of the plot, fuck you. Like, but they open on a homeless guy like, oh, I'll go in here, and he like gets killed, and you're like, oh, the house is evil. And you're like, wait a minute, why did that happen?
No, by the end you're like, why did that happen?
Well, but no, by the end you're like, oh, is the house just decrepit? Because it almost killed that guy too, and the ghost's gone.
Right,
Like,
something else almost slips. But yes, we've already solved the problem. So the ghost didn't make the first thing slip, apparently.
I guess.
And the ghost of that guy didn't show up either. He wasn't a part of the people, right?
no.
Yeah.
Well, he died off outside the house.
Oh, he's saved.
Yeah.
Good.
You bastard. I know.
You see our like it kind of like pulls back from the one room. You see that the house is like boards and dust and dirt, and it's like not a real house. So So that means they never went into the real house. They only went into the spirit version of the house since like day one, which is proof that that she never visited the school, and it had to have been a dream because she couldn't have come and gone from the right. Okay, and no one could call, I guess, because they were in the spirit realm, right? Okay.
Yeah.
They run out, and there's no like utility worker, councilman worker people there to tear the house down. They get as far as, as like the gate, then they talk a little bit, then suddenly there's people in there tearing down the house right now.
Look out! Fucking death trap.
Right? And that made me think like, oh, the ghost had to muster up the ectoplasm to make the phone call to the college kids because they were going to tear the house down, and they never could have gotten free in time unless she made the swap now, and that's what kicked her into high gear or something like that.
But what doesn't make sense to me is
the flow of that's totally wrong. Is what I'm saying.
Was the clock actually had nothing to do with anything? It seemed, because it was all the fact that it was even ticking was because he pulled the book out. But if you were in the spirit world, that clock was already working, and it already had the countdown. Was the countdown of midnight when the house was going to get exploded? Was that the only thing it was?
Right.
Like, did it not actually have anything to do with anything? I don't understand.
No, that's another part too, because how do they go into the spirit world before he pulls the book out of the clock, right?
Well, how did she manage to make calls exactly before the, like,
What's
why
happening?
was she even trapped? Because I don't understand how any of this works. Like, why was the murderer trapped? Why did it need a murderer? Why did any of this happen?
So there's like other stuff going on there still, so I can buy that they're trapped there, but it seems like they needed the clock to get fixed because that's what like ratchets it up. So
yes.
So like,
but because they didn't actually fix the clock, they fixed it in the spirit world clock. It shouldn't have actually done anything, in my opinion.
To me, the big mistake is having that CG sequence at the end where you see that that the house is really decrepit and not real, because that like ruins everything.
I would have liked the house to be like the end of The Simpsons, like where it just like and it like disappears or something.
Chose to destroy itself rather than live with us.
Or like it explodes from like paranormal energy or something happens.
Or show it like getting weird like that, so that when they come to tear it down, it like makes sense. Not like, oh, because like I love, the whole time you were just sitting motionless on like an old shitty couch from the Victorian era, and there were spiders crawling on you and like planks of wood broken all around you, and you just didn't know. That's awesome. That doesn't appear to be what happens here. He didn't fix the clock.
I couldn't tell you what happened here.
In like real life. But imagine another movie where we like, instead of quickly recapping nonsense, we like quickly recap them in this house that that like doesn't work. Show her like turning the bathtub thing and like moving her hand, but there's no water. Nothing's happening. Right? They're just sitting in like dust. They're just up on the bed. It's like dust. There's like nothing happening. There's no light. There's no things. And like everything's dark and shitty. Right? Have a whole weird thing going on.
Interesting.
Do some cool thing, because that's what I want when there's a cool thing or like a twist or something that feels like it means something. Right? You have to do it in a way where when I think more about it, I'm like uncovering more things. I'm going more deeply into it. Right?
The cool things for me in this were like the brother in the window.
Nikki! Nikki! Midnight, Nikki!
I thought that was very cool. Like he's like swimming up against the glass and like breathing against it. And I'm like, that's a cool shot.
That's similar to those like glowing torches or whatever, right?
Yes.
They were doing this cool thing sometimes. Even the wet even like the wet footprints. I was like, okay, cool. Give me like a little haunting here, right? Do a little thing.
Yeah, I wanted more about like the water seemed like it was going to be this big thing, but it really wasn't. Because like they make a thing like, oh, when running water happens, the blah, but you were in the spirit world the whole time. So it comes full circle to make me go, what the fuck was that about then?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. And like the guy like brought his drugs into the spirit world. They managed to hide his real drugs. He was doing drugs in the spirit world and getting high. He was drinking in the spirit world and getting drunk.
My man.
What are the rules here? Yeah. I did think when that dude punched his girlfriend in the face, I was like, that might be one of the better on-screen face punches ever.
Tom, this is really...
Shut up!
Like, seconded only to the one from House of Wax. Yeah.
Now we come to my favorite part of the movie. I really liked that stuff. Tom, I think, and Adele. Tom and Adele's like fucked up relationship where there's like violence and sex and drugs and everything happening.
They're both choking each other, David Carradine style.
Yeah, it's like crazy and stuff. And like then his escalation, right? This is also deeply flawed, but I thought his performance was good. He was Amityville-ing it kind of, right? When he has the hammer, then they show the hammer earlier.
Yes, that hammer. We were like, that's gonna play a big part.
There's the scene where he goes to swing the hammer at the Nick and like misses. I thought that was shot really well. It was like unusually good camera work for that little sequence. But fucking like that whole thing makes no sense either, because he's not like he's not descending into madness and like becoming a bad guy. He starts off as at a bad guy. There's a line of dialogue like you made him do this, right? And it's like, no, you didn't. He's horrible. He's been like beating his girlfriend. She says, if you hit me again, as if this has happened long, like you have zero sympathy for him.
Well, he's a bad guy to begin with, and then he gets like really drunk. He gets really high, and he's getting like, as his life is threatened, his lifestyle, not his actual life, he gets, crazier and has to defend himself. And then in the midst of him trying to like kill them, for what he thinks, she knows that he killed his girlfriend, but really she just says, I know this person died in the house.
That was funny too, when he's just overhearing them say, and she's dead the whole time, and he's like, it has to be like, fuck, yeah.
I saw him kill her in this house, but it wasn't.
Shut up! What is your fucking problem, man? Bitch! It's the enemy!
When they're in the attic, where his stash is now hidden, because he just hid it there, she like hits him in the face with a bag of like cocaine. And at that point he goes super crazy, because he's like high out of his fucking mind.
Was that cocaine?
I believe so, because
I thought it was just like crap.
When he first gets hit, I thought it was dust. Yeah. But then a moment later, his leg drops through the floor, and he's like rubbing his gums. He's like, oh yeah. And then he's like smashing the floor. I'm like, oh, he's coked out. Like he's ready to go. And I liked that shot a lot.
It's like the bag of drugs. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff with that guy and with his craziness.
Yeah.
I thought he pulled it off really well. He's very like wet and all that stuff. And I do like this aspect of them banding together to like kill him, and then to have him end up impaled on the floor the same way the other guy did. Mm-hmm. If earlier you were talking about that stuff, that I do like that, and then the ghost like taunting him like, "Welcome to eternity, bitch," because he's been such a shitbag, right?
Yeah.
And now she gets to be like, "I'm gonna go be with the other dude who I cheated on you with or whatever," and for all eternity. And then like the door slams shut, the same door, the same place.
You know the rules. A killer for a killer. That's the way it has to be. And we both know there was only ever one real killer among us.
Down!
Welcome to eternity, Tom.
And comes back. That part's cool.
What's weird to me though is you thought, or at least I would have assumed, you had this girl and her, boyfriend who actually loved her and gets trapped. He's a murderer because she had him shoot her. They're trapped in this house. They need someone to replace them. I would have thought that it would need an equal replacement, and you would need the murderee and the girlfriend to both be trapped again. But then his girlfriend, that he choked to death, was out there with the other guy. And I'm like, okay, so only he's trapped in the house, I guess.
Yeah.
That's weird.
They needed one bad person who was a killer,
I guess,
unquote, to replace the one. Because only
she was never really trapped there. She just hung out there, I guess.
For him.
Yeah.
She said like we're supposed to be together forever.
I wonder why was he even trapped though?
Because
they nailed his.
Yeah, because of like how they killed him and the weird circumstances and all that. I can get behind those vibes. Okay, that's okay.
But it wasn't like that. It's like she said, I need you, a killer for a killer. You must pin him to the floor. That just luck didn't happen.
No, that's just like cinematic and literary, whatever, mirroring.
But there's not like they're casting a spell to replace him. The rules, this is why I hate ghosts. Weird shit. That clock was fucking weird, like just razor blades and things. It's like on that thing. I'm like, what is this?
Oh, fuck! Ooh, good boy fingers.
Oh, God.
Are you okay?
Yeah, fine. Just nip me.
What's going on?
And there was a little dial of like a sun and wavy lines and an eyeball and weird things.
Well, that's just Russian or whatever she said it was.
It's great, but I'm like, this is, and like more of that could have been good too.
I wanted that amulet to mean something. I wanted that to be like a ghost protection or a ghost summoning.
Like the symbols on the clock. Like imagine, like a movie that centers on the spirit clock, and then it like clicks to different symbols, and those symbols vaguely correlate to what weird stuff happens, right?
Yeah.
It like clicks to a little flame symbol, and someone burns themselves. It clicks to something else, and someone almost drowned. It keeps clicking to different things. Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, you had a thing, you could have done a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't really like a ghost haunted wardrobe thing. If you want that, like Oculus is a much better version of that. And this was okay. It left me with a lot of questions, which I always say, well, that's bad, unless like you know you're meant to. But none of these questions were like that kind of posed questions where like, I walk away as the audience member going, well, what did you believe happened? I'm like, I don't know what's supposed to have happened here.
No, there's no like competing theories that draw from different critical lenses to imagine what this means. It's literally just, wait, if they're already in the spirit world, then how come this happens?
Yeah.
Drop the fucking hammer, Tom!
Another solid hit was that there was a headbutt part. It was like,
yeah.
And I was like, okay.
That's right. Pretty good. That's right after that hammer scene. It's awesome. Yeah. And just the look on his face, I thought he was really good at being like, I'm sick of this bullshit. Fucking no. And like killing people. And stuff.
Billy Piper gets like a good cut across her nose, and I'm like, that looks pretty real. Like, some of the effect stuff is good, like both digital and practical in this.
Yeah.
But overall, it's a little underwhelming, both from having a scattered plot that doesn't really cohesively take you across a thing that ends with that aha moment. You kind of just know that the whole time around.
It would have had to have been so much, like, for that slow hour to be worth, the ending would, and I did like the 20 minutes near the end.
They were the best part.
That's what I like of the movie, but sitting through that hour, I'm like, there better be like an epic, like complex tale that's gonna like satisfy me for days about this weird circumstance of this haunting, and it does not deliver on that.
You didn't get that
whatsoever. Yes,
no.
The mom and everything else, the whole we have dead relatives, and that's a thing. Like I would have to volunteer so much and go through so much to try to fill in the gaps for them and all that stuff. They didn't like make a cool connection thing at the end. It's a happy ending, I guess. That's fine, but it's not like When you realize though, like the actual time period of the whole movie is like, not only was it 2 days, Spirit World 2 days. It was really like not even. It's the first day still in reality. But even if you take it out the actual 2 days. Her and that guy had like a full relationship. They're now like in love, and I'm like, it was 2 days. I think it
looks like we're going the same way.
Yeah. Jenny.
Nick.
If we counted all your dialogue, it was like 17 sentences together.
Did they sleep together?
They did,
or just sleep together? Because they're making out.
I took it as they went all the way, but I don't know.
So they put all their clothes back on?
Probably.
That's, I think, where the movie gets good, because he's like, oh, I got up and you were gone. And she's like, no, you were gone. Like that little moment, like, okay. And then we had a nice little ride, and then it was like, spirits.
Form of, and it just ends.
Back? Yeah.
So, would you recommend anyone ever watch Spirit Trap?
What is this?
This is crazy.
Where's Tina?
This is fucking crazy!
If you're a huge fan of Doctor Who and you want to see everything Billy Piper's done, then yes. If you're like, it's something that I could just throw on in the background while I do something maybe. If you were like, I need something to take me away from this horrible corona-ridden world that I live in and be distracted for a little while, maybe this would actually do that, because you'd be like, wait, what's happening? I'm very distracted. But it's not a very good movie, no.
I think it's too slow, and for the parts that are worth it, there's other parts that are not, and my calculations say do not watch this movie.
Yeah. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
Sorry, there's no other way.
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition, now it's only us. Our expert staff opinion.